almost across the board, tensor fascia lata is tight. So it's actually something that I deal with, so I know. And it's when you lay on your side and you have pain right in that, like right on the ball of the head of the hip, on the greater trochanter. Okay, so there's the superior gluteal, and then the inferior gluteal, which I think is hard to remember because you would think the superior would be the gluteus maximus, but it's not. The inferior gluteal is the maximus. So those are the two big ones coming off and going to your gluteal muscles. And then we're going to go on down into the sciatic nerve. So what have we learned does the front part of the leg? That's your lumbar plexus, right? So it does the femoral nerve and it does the obturator. And so that's what controls. The lumbar plexus controls the front part of your leg and the inside of your leg, your adductor. Your sciatic nerve controls everything in the back of your leg and below your knee. That's how important that nerve is. And so it divides down as it goes down. So we're going to start with the sciatic. And it does the hamstring muscles. And the hamstring muscles come off pretty high. So if you'll look at your sciatic nerve, it'll show where those hamstring muscles come off. And the nice thing about this particular picture is you can also see the tibial nerve and the common perineal nerve and how it's kind of set up in that sciatic nerve up at your hip area. We think of sciatic kind of being at the hip, right? Okay, so as it comes down right above the knee in the back. It kind of comes down right above the knee in the back. It divides into the tibial and the common fibular. That is a new term. The other term that you need to know is common perineal, because that's what it was called for 100 years. Why we have to change names, I don't know. But officially what you're going to see on the licensure board is fibular, okay? But just be aware that perineal, because most people are going to talk that. We just made that transition about 2 years ago. And I still can't, I have to think about it, because I've always called it the other. So it divides into the tibial and to the common fibular. And so what the tibial nerve does is it goes right down the back, goes down into the ankle, and then at the bottom of the foot, it divides into the medial and lateral plantar. So look at the tibial nerve, a picture of the tibial nerve so you can see it. Find it in something. The muscles that it innervates are the popliteus. Again, not too big, not so very important. But the gastrocnemius, soleus, tibialis posterior, and then the foot intrinsics are from the medial and lateral plantar. So it comes right down to the bottom and just divides into those plantar nerves. And goes one part, the lateral goes out to the outside and medial goes to the inside. And they do the foot intrinsics. But the tibial does the gastroc, soleus, tibialis posterior, and the popliteus. Okay? So then, right at that division, the tibial goes right down the back, and then the common perineal kind of comes out to the side, and it is the common perineal, it's both of them behind the fibular head. So if you do damage to the fibular head or have a fracture at that fibular head, then you're going to have trouble with all the fibular nerves down there. So that's still common fibular behind the fibular head. And then it comes on down and divides into the deep fibular and the superficial fibular. Tibial goes right down the back. Common perineal kind of goes lateral behind the fibular head, and then it divides. The deep fibular goes to the front, superficial fibular goes lateral. So your deep fibular is the tibialis anterior and the toe extensors. And what are those? Major what muscles? Dorsiflexors, right? Remember, your extensor hallucis longus and your tibialis anterior, your two major dorsiflexors. Remember, they do other things, especially with the anterior tib. You need to put inversion in there. Okay, so that's the deep fibular, L4, L5, S1. A superficial fibular, it does all the peroneus muscles, peroneus tertius, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis. So that your sciatic nerve divides down into all those nerves. Isn't that wild? Okay, remember that the peroneus tertius does what?